Welcome everyone to week 7 of the course. For this week, we're going to be focused on the role of unemployment and inflation and role of business cycles. It's a very fascinating week because most people understand unemployment, the unemployment rate, but a lot of people don't understand the implications of how it's reported and some of the challenge that we're facing when we look at the unemployment rate and how it's reported. Unemployment is a very big concern in our economy because a lot of people are focused on the unemployment rate and how it influences our economy. When you look at the unemployment rate, you'll notice that broadly speaking, a high unemployment rate is anything more than 10%. And we experienced that a couple of years back, and that created a lot of issues with regard to economic growth. Although anything more than 5% in the U.S. is considered high, we usually expect between about 3.5% to 5.5% is a good rate. But anything other than that could be considered higher. There are many methods of measuring a country's unemployment rate, and the number can change drastically depending on who is doing the measuring. For example, the basic standard for an unemployment rate is the number of working age people who don't have a job but have looked for work in the last 4 weeks, considering those people who are seasonally employed or unemployed, and those who are underemployed, and those who are not looking for a job. So this can directly and dramatically affect this unemployment rate. So you'll notice there's a lot of challenges. For example, if people leave the labor force, you'll notice that it actually will create a lower unemployment rate. But a lot of people don't realize it creates an unemployment rate because all they see is, wow, the unemployment rate decreased. But what you don't realize is we haven't created more jobs. We just actually have less people in the labor force. And the labor force is looking at people that are working or people that are looking for a job. It doesn't include people that don't want a job at this point. So you notice that we got a lot of interesting things that we're focused on this week. And I think you'll like this, because a lot of the concepts you can really relate to. Now, when we look at another concept this week, we look at inflation. Inflation is looking at the general increase in the price level. So when we look at consumers, we're always faced with some issue with regard to inflation. And inflation influences a lot of things we make with the general increase in the price level. Now, the problem is we have to deal with inflation, and it makes a lot of challenges with regard to our purchasing power. When we see this higher price occur in our economy, we have to make decisions. What should we do? If our income's not going up, but there's inflation, that's going to create a lot of challenges, a lot of issues. And a lot of people don't recognize the challenges that we're faced with inflation. Because higher inflation creates a lot of challenges for us to cut back on our spending because of the higher prices in our economy. So I think that's an important thing to evaluate this week. So for this week, we're going to be reading the unemployment, business cycles, and inflation chapter, which is chapter 6. And we're also going to be focused on the role of the assessment of discussion board number 4. In this discussion board, I think I have 3 to 4 questions in there. Make sure to focus on each question, thoroughly develop it, get that first post in by the required due date, and also make sure to have an APA formatted in-text citation and reference to fully support your work. And if you can do that, you'll do well. And if you need anything else, let me know, but I look forward to your effort this week.